Hey guys, Drifter here. Today's video is about how to be successful on YouTube. This is one of the more common questions in my inbox. It usually comes in the form of what kind of content should I upload, or what am I doing wrong? Can you give me some criticism? Should I get a capture card? Should I move into this game, that game? Should I wait? A lot of these sort of questions, or how did you grow your channel? And it also ties in very well with my series of tutorials on Elgato. I did one on audio quality, video quality. I think I did one on setup and live streaming. And now I thought it would be appropriate to do one. So what kind of content should you make? What should you work on? What should you do? And I'm assuming if you got a capture card, you're capturing console footage of some kind, though I guess you could do weird things with it with a VCR or older technologies. So we're going to talk about what I did to become successful on YouTube, what you can do, and what you probably shouldn't do today. It's going to be a very personal sit down and chat kind of things, and we're going to start with very general things and then work toward very specific tips. The gameplay that you're going to see is 2 games of TDM. Number 1, I'm going to use my suppressed vector here until I run out of ammo and then scavenge enemy weapons. And then in the next gameplay, I actually have a little quick scoping clip because I've been practicing that. And then in the next gameplay, I'm going to go and face an entire team of quick scopers and pound them with my light machine gun. And then we're moving into a really weird game of domination where I just used all kind of crazy guns and ended up doing pretty well, mostly scavenge weapons. But let's get back on topic here. When a lot of people say, how did you get so successful on YouTube, or what can I do to be successful, what can I do better, a lot of them are coming in at the wrong angles, or they're measuring success improperly, or they're just here for the wrong reasons. That being, a lot of people's like, I want subs and views, I want tons of subscribers, I want thousands of them, I want views just sky high, I want a ton of subs and views is like the stereotypical thing. A lot of people never say, yo bro, how do I get subs and views? That was like, how do I get bigger, how do I get more popular, just some other kind of way of saying it. And if that's really all that you want to do, you're kind of here for the wrong reasons, because I will go ahead and tell you that YouTube famous is not famous at all. Like, the #1 top person on YouTube when it comes to being an actual celebrity, like in Hollywood land or getting recognized, we're way down at like the D list here. Like, you can go talk to Freddie Wong. I've never met the guy in my life, but I can guarantee you that even being who he is on YouTube, he would have a very hard time getting into the traditional media spectrum, and he probably doesn't get recognized all that much. Even in the gaming spectrum, really big people, they don't get spotted on the street. It's not like I can just roll up into my local Kmart and be like, yo, I'm on YouTube, give me this stuff for free because I'm awesome. It doesn't really work that way. So the goal to get famous and get popular on YouTube is really not a good goal. It's probably not going to be what you think it is at all, because you got to deal with death threats too. Those are really fun. What I like to do, or the reason that I started doing YouTube, is I really liked telling stories. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if I was made that way or if it was something that I learned over the course of my life, but ever since I was a little kid, I just liked telling stories. It was usually involved telling something that happened to me in a more elaborate manner or more dramatic manner, or retelling a really cool movie or TV episode to somebody that was unfamiliar with it. And the fact that I am able to make any sort of money off of it, or do it appropriately here on YouTube, or not appropriately, but do it in a gaming spectrum, which is also something I like to do, is just a really nice bonus. Because to tell you the truth, I never honestly thought in a million years when I started doing this that there would be hardly any audience for me or for this or for any sort of this gaming commentary thing that we have going on today. I mean, I'm glad that it's here, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't really expected. And you're going to say, okay, great, Drifter, you like to tell stories, lovely. How does this help me get more successful on YouTube? What in the world does this have to do with me? And what it has to do with you is that you shouldn't buy a capture card and think that you're going to be like Hutch or Syndicate or White Boy in a couple of weeks. If you go get on eBay right now and just search for any capture card that you want, you will find hundreds of them, thousands of them for sale, used by people that aren't selling anything else. And it's kind of like a graveyard of broken dreams of people that thought that they would be YouTube famous because they had a capture card, and it didn't really work out. And the reason it didn't work out more than anything else is that they were just here for the wrong reasons. Yeah, here's my one quick scope that I get ever. So what I would tell you to do is that if you're going to get a capture card and you're going to make content, you shouldn't just make content that you think is going to be popular. A lot of people, it's emulation, and emulation of popular content is actually kind of how you would define said popular content, because other people want to do it, that it'll be popular, etc., etc. But you shouldn't just kind of copy other people or make things that other people make, like a normal commentary or a road to Commander or a road to whatever. Some people do those, some people are successful, some don't. I really don't. Or, you know, knife only this, or some of the more common ones I see, tip videos, even though I do those are very, very common. or you shouldn't try to make videos just because you think they will be popular. I know a lot of people, and I've done this myself, and I've failed miserably at this. They'll make a video just because they think that other people will like it. They're like, well, apparently people like sniper montages, so I'll do sniper montages. They might not even like sniping. It might be so frustrating to them to try to hit all the scopes and the challenges and stuff that they won't even enjoy it, and that's just downright dirty, because if you're not having fun, the audience, you guys, you people that are listening to me at this point in the commentary 5 or 6 minutes in, you know when somebody is full of crap most of the time. Some people are really good at faking it, but if I'm here doing something that's miserable, something that I don't want to do, almost every single time somebody knows it. And believe me, I've done this. I've tried to make videos that were popular. I've challenged myself to do things that I really didn't want to do just because I thought it would get views. And about 99-95% of the time, it was a total failure because the audience knew it wasn't fun. So my advice to you would be, do what you like doing. Do what you find to be fun, and don't necessarily worry about how many subscribers you're going to get, or how many views you're going to get, or how popular it's going to be. Because if you're only here to be popular, it's not going to work out for you. It's sort of a self-fulfilling desire. So what I would tell you to do, I mean, if you like sniping, go for it. If you like playing really hard MLG, challenging gameplay, go for it. If you just like hopping in a lobby with your friends and talking a bunch of trash and playing the game, just record that live. As long as you're having fun and you're enjoying it, everybody else will also enjoy it and like it. I promise you. That's the trick. I like telling stories, and I like talking to people, and I like giving advice. That's why I do tip videos. That's why I'm doing this, and it's actually kind of fun for me to try to help other people out. So that's my big tip. That's the big takeaway from this whole thing, is that you have to find something that you enjoy, and ideally other people will enjoy it too. So if you're still here and you're still interested in making videos, you're going to wonder, okay, what are these specific tips? You've told me a lot of very general, like feel good, you should only do it to feel good, but I'm struggling here. I want to get better at this YouTube sort of thing. So I've got some advice of things that have worked for me, and some other big mistakes, common mistakes that people make. I'm going to go through these in order. Number one, the age of capture card novelty is over. A lot of people think back to the days where there were maybe 40 commentators on all of YouTube, and all of them now are super popular because they were the first people ever to do this. And what you see is a lot of people remember that, and they'll buy a capture card and they'll start uploading just gameplay with no commentary, or just some commentary or gameplay and some music, and they'll talk for like 30 seconds and they'll let the gameplay roll, or talk some relatively boring stuff just about the gameplay. And they are kind of confused when there's not a whole ton of people subscribing or wanting to check it out, because, you know, I have gameplay here. I have HD gameplay. Why don't you like my HD gameplay? Well, the problem is capture cards are way more common now than they used to be. Everybody's got a capture card. They're all HD by default. You don't even have to do anything but record the game and maybe talk into your headset if you want to do live commentary and hit upload. It's done. The novelty behind that, the uniqueness, the rareness, the specialty is gone. The days when there was like 30 or 40 total commentators to choose from are gone. There's like 30 or 40,000 now. So that's just not going to cut it. What has worked for me, generally speaking, tutorials of any kind are good, not necessarily about gameplay. Most of you are from Call of Duty, or maybe a few of you actually subscribe to me for League of Legends. Tips, tutorials, guides, how to get people better at this, not necessarily this game. It could be anything, like how to wash your dog, how to cut cat claws without getting scratched, how to ride a horse. I don't know why I got on the animal binge, but anything that typically works pretty well. Number two thing is talking about things that are important to you, because if it's not important to you, then you're definitely not going to want to talk about it, and it's going to show. I talk about things on this channel, philosophical things, political things. They're usually a little bit not what you would expect. I like to leave the title somewhat vague and kind of turn it back around on itself. Those are things that I like when I read something. That's what I find to be most interesting, and I talk about topics that I believe are important to me and the rest of the world, and that I want to share with you about. And if you do the same thing, people take notice. They notice that you care. They notice that you know what you're talking about. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about a game or about anything. If you're into astrobiology and that's your big thing, and you know a lot about it, and you feel that you're very opinionated and you want to change somebody's mind or influence them, talk about that. If you are into leatherworking, of all things leatherworking, I don't know anything about it. But if you're passionate about it, if you think it's something cool and it's something that you know you can talk about, then do it. Other people take notice and they learn things, and they learn from your passion, I'll say. The other thing I'll say is that generally speaking, videos that are fun have worked out better than challenge videos. Maybe that's just for my particular audience. They don't know me as the guy that goes in like really MLG tryhard in all these games. They see me doing more fun things or more like sort of challenging things where I don't do all that great, like picking up other teams' goofy guns and using them. But generally speaking, other channels that do things that are more fun and less like challenging, less high scoring, that tends to work out better. One thing I found that helps a lot is if you have one main series going on. For me right now it's in-depth. It hasn't always been in-depth, but having one series gives you some degree of focus so that you know what you're doing, and it lets your subscribers kind of mostly know what you're about. On this channel it's mostly numbers, tips, so my main series would be in-depth, and then some of my sub-series would be like Noob vs. Pro or philosophical videos or something of that nature, somewhat related in the same category but not the same thing. So it's nice to have one series. I'd tell you to experiment, which is my next tip. Don't ever be afraid to experiment. Try new things. If you think, you know, I've got this crazy idea, I think it'd be kind of fun to work on, I don't know if it'll work out, I'll just tell you to go for it, because you don't know what's going to work until you try. I have done all sorts of crazy ideas, and I was like, you know, I don't know if this is going to work. I think it might. I don't know. The odds are kind of against me. I'm going to give it a go. Super popular. In-depth was like that. I was like, I don't know if people are going to care about that, but, you know, I'll try it. And it worked out great. So don't be afraid to experiment, change things up, see what you like, see what other people like, try to get a good match. The next one I would tell you is don't sell out and don't sell people up a river. And I know that sounds ridiculous from the guy who is literally making a sponsored tutorial for Elgato, or the guy that works with Gamma Labs and all these other companies. And you can do that. Like, having a sponsor is not the same as selling out. You can do it responsibly. The thing that I've done with all the companies that I've worked with is I retain in my contracts the ability to be honest, because there are companies that will pay you to lie. They will pay you a lot to lie to people. And I usually opt out of anything that's just direct sales. There's a lot of people that'll pay you based on commission, and they want you to pump up sales as much as possible, not even for good stuff, sometimes just junk. Like, I got an email the other day of somebody wanting to pay me something like $1,500 to try and get you to buy 1,000 some odd copies of DuckTales, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell is this? You think I'm going to go and convince people to buy DuckTales? You're crazy. That's just scummy. You don't want to do that. So there are ways to be responsible and irresponsible with sponsorships. Don't ever let the sort of company that you work with dictate the type of content that you make. It should be the other way around. The company likes what you make and they just want to be a part of it. Okay, so even more specific things. Moving on, asking for likes and favorites in the first 30 seconds of the video. Terrible idea. I see a lot of videos, roll intro, a few seconds of gameplay. Oh, by the way, if you like this, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. And I'm like, dude, it's been 30 seconds, you haven't said anything, your game is barely loaded, and I can't tell what's going on. Why would I like or favorite or subscribe? I don't know anything about this. For me, I generally found that as offensive or somewhat dull, so I would actually just turn it off when somebody said that. I would recommend putting the like, favorite, subscribe thing all the way at the butt end of the video. I would also tell you, avoid super long intros. A lot of people get really elaborate intros that are very, very long, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 40 seconds. The average attention span of a YouTuber is about 10 to 15 seconds tops, and if your video isn't rolling, if it isn't going, if you haven't started talking or doing whatever it is that you're supposed to do that's related to the title, they've tuned out. They're gone. I make all of my intros 7 seconds or less. I think I might have one of them that's 8 seconds. So I'd say 7 to 8 seconds tops on the intro. Also, it's usually a bad idea to start out, this is Call of Duty specific, you'll start out with, let's say, in the lobby. Like, I've seen some people start at the start menu and then hit start and then make a class and then go into matchmaking, then do matchmaking, then load the map, then start playing the gameplay. That's like 2 minutes of boring that you don't need. Why not just start when the gameplay starts? You have editing software that comes with all the capture cards, including the Elgato, the people that I'm making this for. You can just start when the gameplay starts. So as soon as you start talking, the gameplay starts, and in the first couple of seconds of the video, you're talking about the topic, the gameplay is rolling, and everything's good to go, and you don't have to, you know, wait or worry that, you know, the ADD people are going to tune out. Next one I would say is have actual information in your description. If your description says subscribe and has all these crazy characters and like an ASCII art gun and stuff like that, that is actually not to your benefit. That works against you. That shows people that you don't care about anything but just getting more subscribers, and oftentimes it looks childish, so you probably shouldn't do that. I try to put in my description, a lot of times if I've got something sponsored or I'll link to my app or something, I'll do 1, maybe 2 lines of something that people can click on, and then a wall of text. So they'll look at it, they'll see the 2 lines, and then they'll see the actual paragraph of description of what the video is about. I don't usually spoil the whole video, but it's proper written English so that if somebody had a slow connection and they looked at it and they were judging on whether or not they should load up my video, they'll see what it's about and they'll know. That helps a lot. Having proper spelling, very, very important. When people send me videos or when I'm searching and I click through and I see a lack of capital letters or all capital letters or capitalizing the first letter of every word, improper spelling, weird grammar, stuff like that, I just tune out. I'm like, this person's dumb, they don't know what they're talking about, bye-bye. Not everybody does that, not everybody cares, but enough people care that it will make a difference. So going through and doing proper spelling, little things like that, makes a difference. Having titles relevant to your gameplay, very important. A lot of the videos you'll see on my channel, we'll talk about like, we'll just say criminal law, Black Ops 2 gameplay. That tells you everything you need to know, what I'm going to be talking about and what game is being played. It could be Black Ops 2 gameplay, talking about my great aunt Mildred, whatever, just so long as you've got those 2 components. And misleading titles, very bad, you want to avoid those. Lastly, take your time to answer people earnestly. Talk to as many people as you can. In my position, that's somewhat difficult because every time I open my inbox, there's a couple hundred new messages. But I try to answer as many as I can get to, and be honest with them and be helpful. You would be amazed at the people that you help now that will come back and help you later. Not necessarily even in the YouTube world and the commentary, but just life in general. Help as many people as you can, because I promise you, it will surprise you who will be able to help you out later. And lastly, remember, the goal is still probably for most of you, despite what I said earlier, to get more subscribers and views. Subscribers or subs are people. I was talking to another commentator. He was like, hey man, you should give me some subs. And I immediately flipped out. I'm like, just give you some subs? They're people. They're not Skittles. I can't just like open a bag of subs and toss them at you. They're individuals. Every single person that is watching this video is an individual with tastes, with their own life, with their own concepts of reality and everything. And they're not just imaginary numbers. Each and every subscriber you gain is a person that you've reached out and touched. I hope you learned something. Drifter out.